of national significance is wrong, it's poor policy, and it's been rejected by New Zealanders.
Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr Chairman, I want to make a contribution on this debate in respect of the comments that have been made about Kiwi Rail. There's been some talk about people whakapaparing back to their railway destiny in terms of the future of Kiwi Rail. I started my interest in politics as a consequence of an experience with Kiwi Rail. That was, actually, rather than talking about dads or somebody else, I was working on a rail bridge project in North Canterbury. And let me give you the experience each day. Each day we were building the bridge, and there were 5 of us contractors there to build the bridge. And every day, a bus full of railway workers, 26 of them, came to supervise and ensure that we didn't get in the way of the trains. It was a total disgrace. In fact, what actually happened, I was so appalled that this was going on in my country that I borrowed my brother, who had one of those new fangled VHS recorders, sent it to Mr Quigley, who was then the Minister of Railway. He invited me to become part of Young Nationals, and the rest is history. Now, the reason this is relevant to this debate about rail is because what has been the death of rail is the interference of politicians in running a good business. I am appalled that members in this day and age somehow believe that it's politicians that should be making the decisions about the sort of locomotives that Kiwi Rail should be buying. If that is the sort of backwards culture that we're going to go into, we're going to drag this country back to the sort of Greek rail system that has dragged that country into bankruptcy. You see, the government plan that's been set down around the turnaround plan is actually about, Mr O'Connor, running rail as a proper business. And that means not having decisions made about the type of locomotives, the number of staff that are employed, all of those decisions being made by politicians with agendas a long way from making a successful business. And I plead with members opposite and with this House to learn the lessons of history around railway. The deal that the previous government did to pay over $600 million for rail in 2008 was totally driven by politics, was a dog of a deal for the taxpayer, cost this country a fortune, and I urge this Parliament, if it really wants to have a quality transport system, if it really wants to have a railway system that can serve this country well, let's appoint a qualified, robust board of directors, let them run that enterprise in a proper way, rather than the sort of politics that members opposite want to drag railways back into and destroy that important part of our transport infrastructure, Mr Speaker.
The question is that vote transport stand part of the schedule. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that vote economic development stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye.